What? A late night podcast. What could this mean for the world at large? What could this mean? What could this mean? I was told that voice was funny tonight. I don't know. Can I trust that though? They said I sounded like Voldemort, which I think is potentially a huge insult to Ralph Fiennes. Harry Potter, the boy who lived, come to die. I'm big into dramatic voices. I like that. I like the dramatic voices. Huge fan of that. I drank some hot chocolate. Probably shouldn't have done that before I go to bed. It's going to make me wired and fartish. I don't think that's even a word, but I like it should be a word. How you feeling today? Fartish. Where are we going now? What are we discussing now? I think the key is I want to see what happens if I let myself just go and try to do the stream of consciousness. It will create the greatest podcast of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to present the James Joyce podcast, brought to you by Advil, because you're going to need it. So I was sitting there with the red shoes, carpet, drapes. Match? Do they match? Do they match? And that was your James Joyce podcast. Perfect. Glad to see I am throwing down the intelligent humor here. Covering my face like a spider. I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this podcast. I almost shut it off, but I'm like, no. Power through it, man. Power through it. Let's see where this insanity takes us. Let's see where it takes us, man. Into the trenches of World War I. I don't know why the World War I trenches. No, let's commit to it. Commit to it. The World War I trenches. What's going on in the World War I trenches? Wonder Woman is there. I can't believe that there are people who saw that Wonder Woman movie and they thought it was World War II. They didn't know it was World War I. That's where we're at. World War I, World War II, same difference. But the scene in the trenches where she takes off her coat and we see that she is wearing the Wonder Woman armor and no one stops and goes, what is she doing? I mean, they did that in the dramatic sense of, well, what are you doing? You can't do that. But nobody stopped and went more, like that kind of energy of, what? What's going on? What? Really? That's what you're going to wear? Really? There was no sarcasm in the trenches. In World War I, no sarcasm indeed. And she jumps out of the trenches, and they're shooting machine guns at her, but she's repelling them with her shield. And then the soldiers follow, and they save the day. Momentarily, because then later that same city is bombed and everyone dies. But Wonder Woman saves the day. And she's apparently immortal, cannot age, very useful. Where am I going with this? Nowhere. I'm boring myself. God damn it. Now I've just cursed. This podcast is unusable at this point. Beyond unusable. This will be like the White Album. So I get the Beatles' White Album. And there are tracks on this album where it's just Blackbird singing in the, flub the line, blah, 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 blah. That's a track. That is not a track. That is a rehearsal. You don't need to publish that. We get that the Beatles are geniuses. We don't need to hear every single thing that was ever recorded by the Beatles, singing or not singing. I'm surprised the White Album didn't include just footage, or not even footage, just sound bites of John Lennon and Paul McCartney going, I'll get a burrito. And that is the worst impression. I know that's the worst impression of the Beatles. I'll get a burrito. That's not it either. Oh, right, I'll get a burrito. Nope, we're just missing it on every single level. But I'm not a fan of that idea of the White Album. I don't want the White Album. I just want the classics. I don't need to hear a soundbite of Paul McCartney going, where did I park? Where did I park? Ah, man. John, where did I park? Do you remember? We drove together. Do you remember where was it the lot or was it on the street? John, come on. Where was it? Where was it? I know we were in the middle of talking about whether it should be Lucy in the Sky with rubies, but I'm telling you, it's going to destroy the song if we do that. But are you sure you don't remember where I parked? That's like that dialogue exchange. I'm sure that's on the White Album somewhere. I'm sure it is on the White Album, and I'm not a fan of that. And right now there are Beatles purists saying, how dare you, how dare you desecrate the Beatles by mocking the White Album. Balthazar, come forth. Yes, Your Highness. Balthazar, I want you to destroy this boy who's podcasting about the White Album. It will be done instantly, Your Highness. Excellent, Balthazar. Tell me, Balthazar, when we have drained his blood from his body, will you join me and bathe in it? I've got some skin problems, and I don't think I can. I think the blood's gonna affect. I've got some eczema. You wouldn't want to mix that in with the blood. You wouldn't. You want to. I graciously appreciate the offer. I really do. I really do. And I'm saying no, but it's not a judgment on you. Not a judgment on you at all. Not a judgment at all on you. Not at all on you. But I would just pass on that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would just pass on that, sir. Those accents went all over the place. But I enjoyed myself. That's what's important. This is a late podcast. How are we doing on podcast time? Oh, 7 minutes and 41 seconds. That's... Oh, my goodness. I think that's good enough for today.